Okay, so right now, one of the big parts about trying to downsize life and minimize everything is maybe having a little bit less rent, a little bit cheaper vehicles, having a little less obligations that you have to spend all your money on. Um, Back in the very beginning of 2020, actually it was right beforehand, me and my wife decided to downsize our lives. My wife's name's Kasha, same age as me. We got a couple of boys, 12 and 10. Um, the whole idea was to downsize our lives and get a huge chunk of money put away in investments so that we can retire around 55 years old. So what we're doing is we decided to save some money, sell our house, maybe get rid of some property up north, and just pay off a house cash, a cheap one, and a little bit south of where we live right now on the outskirts of Detroit in the suburbs. Some things have come up that changed a lot of that. Right now you can see, we live on a nice canal on a nice lake out here up in White Lake, Michigan, and it's a really beautiful place to live. It's kind of my dream home, actually. I have a half-acre lot. That's our house back there. You can see that? That's the for sale sign. That means our place is up for sale. And there's our little beach right there, and it's a nice swimmable lake. We swim here, we play here, we boat, fish. You have a lot of good family experiences. But what we don't want to do is we don't want to have all the awesome family experience now and then have to live like we're poor when we retire. And I don't want to have to work until I'm 70 years old. So, we've lived this life now for 12 years, and we're gonna make some changes. We're gonna get rid of this place, and some things have led to this, and some crazy changes in life in the last few months, anyways, that we did not expect. And I'll talk about those in a little bit. So some of these crazy life changes that happen, they just come out of the blue. You're making all these plans, you're talking about what you're going to do to move forward in life, and then you get hit by a virus. This whole virus thing started and changed everything. Everybody's reaction to this virus has been to shut everything down. And right before the virus happened, my job decided that they were going to close its doors at our location here in Novi, Michigan. So they told us we're all laid off, fired, whatever you want to call it. They were shutting down. So they decided to shut down, and that kind of changed some things. When your job shuts down, you have other options. You can go look for new work. I interviewed all over the place. I interviewed at a lot of places, actually. Got some job offers, and none of them were what I wanted. And my job actually decided they're opening up a new sales office down in Raleigh, North Carolina. We have a manufacturing facility down in Camden, South Carolina as well. They decided to ask me if I'd be interested in moving down to the Raleigh area and, making a new home there with the company. And, we were already planning on selling the house and doing all of these things and maybe downsizing and all that. So talked with Kasha about it, my wife, and we thought, geez, it's kind of all coming together pretty quickly. All these things are changing pretty quick, so let's think about it. It sounds like a pretty cool adventure, but we're not sure yet. Because all my family's here. My whole family is born and raised here in Michigan. My kids are here. All of our friends, everybody's here. So we thought, I have other options. I have other job offers. Let's pray about it. Let's think about it. See what happens, right? So that's what we did, and really Kasha trusts me to make good decisions for the family, and and she runs a company. We'll talk about that in the future too, with the business that she started back during the 2008 downturn, kind of a result of that, even though the business didn't start till quite a bit later. But we'll talk about her business later. So I had 2 months to make a decision or find a new job, and so we did a lot of praying about it, and thinking about it and talking about it. And one day, me and my dad's up north at our property in Alpena, Michigan. If you're, I only got one hand, but it's basically, let's see, it's where the tip of my index finger is up here. If my hand's Michigan, that's how we tell where you are in Michigan. We use our hand. So we're up in Alpena, And I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, geez, what should I do? What should I do? And I look at this little statue we have sitting there on a shelf. It's a statue of a little deer holding a rifle. It's kind of got its head down. And just with all this thinking and praying, what am I going to do? I decide, there's a little tag hanging off of this deer statue. So I think, I wonder what that tag says. I wonder what this statue's about, if there's like a meaning to it or something like that. So I go read what the tag says, and it's just some stuff about where it was made or how it was made or whatever. But what I saw was made in North Carolina. And to me, that was kind of a sign. That was kind of God telling me, hey, you asked for a sign, here's a sign. How many things have I seen in my entire life made in North Carolina, let alone made in America at all? And I'm asking and thinking about what I'm going to do. Well, that helped me decide right there. And I thought, you know what? If there's ever a sign, that's a sign. Go to North Carolina. So talked to my wife about it, and that's what we did. We chose North Carolina. I realized I've been doing this with the camera vertically. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to you. It's bad taste. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about at the beginning here, our house that we got up here, up on the hill, let's walk over here, you can see it, big blue house. We bought this house about 4 months before everything crashed in 2008. Me and my wife both said, hey, let's get a 2-income house, instead of this 1-income house, and make life more difficult on us. But hey, we get to be on the water. And it's been good. And 4 months later, everything crashed, and my wife got laid off, and we had to get by. And actually, we got by for a lot of years. And if I wouldn't have saved and been as frugal as I was the time before, and if I would have spent all our money on vacations and put stuff on credit and cars and whatnot, things we could have afforded like anybody else, I just put it in the bank instead. I never invested it. I didn't have any clue about investing at the time. I invested it in some different types of things that I'll talk about later, but not in the markets. So 4 months later, everything crashes, and then we got to figure out, okay, how are we going to make this work? And so we make it work. We got by for a lot of years. We took unemployment for a while, or she did, for that. And, but it was nice because our second son was just born, and she got to stay home and raise the kids. And I always wanted her to be able to stay home and raise the kids anyway. And I always wanted to be able to take care of that financially. And we ended up with the ability to do it, and we got by. And, we weren't able to save during that time. It kind of probably knocked down a lot of the money out of our accounts, but we got to raise our own kids, which that's kind of a blessing. And we wouldn't have done that probably unless we were put in that situation. We probably would have both worked and saw a lot less of our kids. I get it. Most people, they do what they have to do. That's what we have to do. But we were able to do without that extra job, and we made it work. And so we got a great deal on the house, anyways, because it wasn't foreclosure. And now that we're selling it, we're making a little bit on it. So we're gonna, we had a little bit of equity, and so we're gonna take a little bit of that, and we're gonna rent. We're gonna find a home in North Carolina. At least for the first year, we're gonna rent. The area we're going to live, we want to be in a nice, decent, safe area. The rents seem like they might be a little higher than where we live anyways, so our kind of goal now is to keep the kids into the same school. My 12-year-old, he's about to turn 13. I don't want to keep switching them schools and making them have to make new friends and all that. So once we live there, if we can't find affordable houses to buy in the same neighborhood and the same schools, we might just end up renting for the same 8 years, or the next 8 years. So until my 10-year-old's graduated. So we'll see what happens with that. But either way, we're on this journey, this 40 to a million deal. Right now we probably got about, I don't even know. I'll talk about all my investments in another video clip. And I got investments in different things. So we'll talk about that and tell you what I got in there as of now, what we'll get out of my house, cash, when we sell it, and then what we'll have in the bank and ready to put away for other investments when we get to Raleigh in North Carolina.